She was in the shower when I saw it. Pam always left her purse on the kitchen counter, open, overflowing, like it was daring someone to look. I never had a reason to. But that morning, something stopped me. Just a second's hesitation as I passed by, like a gust of cold air on a warm day. Maybe it was the silence. Or maybe it was instinct. I glanced down and saw it sitting right on top of her makeup bag. A black Zippo, men's style, scratched on the sides. Heavy. I picked it up, flicked it open. No initials, no engravings. Just a faint smell of that sharp, musky cologne you find in locker rooms and middle-aged bachelor apartments. I don't smoke. Neither does Pam. I set it down like it burned. That was the thing about being a sheriff for 15 years. You don't need full confessions. You see patterns, gaps, inconsistencies. You don't chase answers. You wait for them to reveal themselves. And that lighter? That was a reveal. Suddenly, things made more sense than I wanted them to. Her sudden obsession with night shifts. The way she started putting on lipstick for paperwork. The times she showered right when she got home. The new phone password she wouldn't say out loud. I'd been telling myself it was nothing. Just burnout. Just marriage. But standing there in that kitchen with that damn Zippo in my hand, I realized something else. Pam wasn't tired. She was busy. I didn't say anything when she came down, hair wrapped in a towel, acting like it was just another Tuesday. Morning, she chirped, grabbing coffee. Morning, I said, sliding the lighter back where it came from. She didn't notice. Or maybe she didn't expect me to. That night, I waited until the sun went down. Pam kissed me on the cheek and said, "Night shift again." I just nodded. She left in her usual rush, keys jangling, high heels clicking on the steps. I gave her a 10-minute head start, then grabbed my keys and followed. Livingston's not a big town. The drive to the hospital took 7 minutes, tops. I parked across the street in the shadows, lights off, engine cold. I knew her schedule. Knew she always took a break outside around 11:30 p.m. She'd told me once, without thinking, that she liked the quiet of it. Everyone's asleep, even the city. It's like being in a different world. Yeah, a different world. Right around 11:33, the staff entrance opened. Pam stepped out. She wasn't alone. Tall, salt and pepper hair. White coat, slung over the shoulder. Confident stride. The doctor. I'd seen him before. Knew the face. Never cared to know the name. Until now. They stood close. Too close for coworkers. His hand brushed hers when he handed her a cigarette. She lit it with the same Zippo I'd found. He laughed at something she said and leaned in just slightly. Familiar. Easy. Pam tilted her head back and laughed. That laugh used to be mine. I didn't storm out of the truck. Didn't flash a badge. Didn't pull a gun. I just watched. Cold. Quiet. And I started planning. By the time she got home the next morning, I was already up, making breakfast like always. She said her usual, "Hey babe," like nothing had happened. Kissed my cheek. Same routine. Except now I knew what it all meant. Pam didn't cheat in a motel. She cheated on a break. In scrubs. With a man who didn't even have the decency to hide it. I didn't want revenge. Not yet. But I wanted the truth. All of it. And I knew exactly how to get it. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was angry. Anger comes fast and loud, then burns out. What I felt was deeper. Colder. Like frost creeping under the door. Pam had lied to my face. Smiled while doing it. Dressed up in scrubs and soft perfume just to stand outside that hospital and flirt with a man who wasn't me. She thought I wouldn't notice. She thought I didn't care. But I was watching now. And I had all the time in the world. Next morning, I didn't mention the hospital. Or the lighter. Or the way she laughed like a teenager out there with that doctor. I just poured coffee and kissed her cheek like I always did. She smiled, but her eyes were scanning mine. Like some part of her had picked up the shift in the air. "You okay?" she asked. "Fine," I said. "Just tired." She believed it. Or needed to. After she left for work, I made my way to the station. Not in uniform. Just a quiet morning visit. Nate was in early, fiddling with the new IT systems. Good kid. Loyal. Too smart to waste time on drama. Too careful to speak out of turn. "You busy?" I asked, standing in his doorway. "Not yet," he said, spinning in his chair. "What's up?" I shut the door, closed the blinds, then pulled a chair and sat across from him. "This stays between us," I said. He raised an eyebrow. "Sheriff stuff?" "Personal, but close enough." He leaned forward. "Shoot." I gave him the basics. Not names. Not accusations. Just that someone I cared about was acting wrong. that I needed help pulling public footage from a few city-owned cameras, hospital perimeter, street cams, maybe some traffic data later. Any warrants? He asked carefully. Nothing formal. It's not an arrest. Just a hunch. He nodded once. You want it quiet? Silent. Done. By noon, he had the first 3 nights of footage queued up. Hospital lot, southwest exit. Pam on break. Doctor at her side. Always at the same time. Always too close. I watched in silence. She's consistent, Nate muttered. I didn't respond. He glanced at me. You want plate matches? Yeah. Start with the SUV. Black. Out around 11:30 every night. He cracked his knuckles and got to work. Later that day, I drove past the hospital myself. No lights, no sirens. Just a man driving the streets of his own town, seeing things with new eyes. Pam's car was there. So was his. I kept going. Didn't stop. Didn't need to. But I memorized where he parked. The rhythm of it. They were comfortable. That was a problem. That night, I sat on the couch while Pam cleaned the kitchen. She was humming. Something upbeat. Happy. It sounded wrong in our house now. Like someone singing at a funeral. I asked, You busy Friday night? She paused. Why? Thinking we'd take a drive. Just the two of us. She turned, forced a smile. I might be working late. There's a new schedule. Yeah, I said. Thought you had weekends off. Just covering for someone. I nodded slowly. Okay. Maybe next week. She looked relieved. Nate texted me around 10 p.m. Got a match on the SUV. Dr. Mitchell Rowan. Internal med married. Address confirmed. I replied. Thanks. Keep digging. The next day, something shifted. Pam got home earlier than usual. No cigarette smell. No smile. Just tension. She set her bag down and asked if I wanted coffee. I said no. She lingered. Everything okay between us? Sure, I said. Why wouldn't it be? She swallowed hard. You just feel distant lately. I'm busy, I said. So are you. She didn't know what to say to that. So she said nothing. That night I stayed in my truck for 2 hours. Parked across the street. Watched him walk her to her car. Watch her touch his arm. Watch her laugh, then glance around nervously. I clicked a photo with my phone. Then another. And another. Next morning, I found a second lighter in her glove box. Not the Zippo. A cheap gas station throwaway. Different. Not hers. I set it next to the first one in the garage, under a rag where no one would look. Proof didn't need to scream. It just needed to stack. By Thursday, Nate had 5 more cam hits. 2 different locations. One just outside town, near a wooded turnout with no lights. Same time. Same cars. Different nights. He looked at me as he printed the timestamps. You want to keep going? I said, we're just getting started. Friday morning, Pam packed a small overnight bag. Said she was going to a 2-day hospital retreat in Missoula. Administrative training, she claimed. Short seminars, leadership stuff. I watched her fold blouses she hadn't worn in months. Apply perfume she never used for work. Curl her hair. All for a hospital retreat. Sure. She was rehearsed. Smiling just enough. Not too much. A woman with a story ready, but not confident it would hold. I'll text when I get there, she said, throwing the strap over her shoulder. I kissed her on the forehead. Drive safe. She smiled, a little surprised, and left. 10 minutes later, I was in my truck, tailing her at a safe distance. I didn't drive myself. I had Nate drop me off 3 blocks away the night before, just in case. She drove west, like she said, but not alone. 15 minutes outside Livingston, she pulled off near a roadside diner. And there he was, Mitchell Rowan, standing by his SUV, phone in hand, sunglasses on like he was some kind of movie star. She parked beside him. They didn't hug, didn't kiss. Too smart for that. But he loaded her bag into his car. And they drove off together. I followed at a distance, long enough to avoid suspicion, close enough to never lose them. They didn't go to Missoula. Didn't even hit the highway. They turned off a gravel road near the Gallatin Forest. Old hunting roads. Remote. Unmarked. Locals use them for weekend escapes. Rowan knew the area well. Eventually, they stopped at a small log cabin nestled in the trees. Private. Secluded. Perfect. I parked just far enough back to avoid notice. Pulled out my binoculars. The cabin had no visible cameras. A single porch light. Firewood stacked neatly on the side. Rowan unlocked the door like he'd done it 100 times. Pam stepped in first. I took photos. Him opening the door. Her entering. The license plate. The driveway. Every angle I could get. Then I waited. An hour passed. Smoke drifted from the chimney. Laughter echoed faintly through the trees. She was comfortable. He was at home. They were playing house in a place that wasn't theirs to play in. I slept in my truck that night. Didn't need much rest. I'd done worse on stakeouts. At dawn, I saw Pam step onto the porch in a flannel shirt, hair messy, barefoot. She carried a mug of coffee. His, probably. I zoomed in. Snapped the shot. That one would be my favorite. Around mid-morning, she walked a few yards into the woods with her phone. I followed from a distance, staying behind the trees. She sat on a fallen log and called someone. I got close enough to hear the name. "Hey baby, it's Mom." I froze. Listened. She was talking to Levi, my youngest, telling him she'd be home tomorrow, that she missed him, that she was learning how to be a better helper at the hospital. The lie slid off her tongue like she'd practiced it 100 times. And Levi? He believed her. Of course he did. He was 9. That was the moment I stopped feeling anything for her at all. Even the hate evaporated. She was willing to drag our son into this mess, lie to his face, and smile doing it. I recorded the call. Quiet. Clean. They left the cabin Sunday afternoon. Rowan dropped her at the diner, just like before. Pam drove home like nothing happened. When she walked through the door, she kissed me on the cheek. "Training was fine," she said. I nodded. "Did you miss me?" she asked. "Sure," I said. "We all did." She smiled. I didn't. Later that night, I backed up all the footage. Created a new folder on my drive called Final Round. Inside. Photos from the cabin. Video of the logside phone call. Audio from her lies. Timestamped GPS trails. I added a copy of the deed history for the cabin. It belonged to Rowan's brother, but Mitchell had been paying the taxes on it for years. Ownership by proxy. I printed it all. Labeled the folder. "When you're ready." She thought she was untouchable, that her cleverness would save her. But I didn't need to scream. Didn't need to argue. I just needed to keep collecting. Because the weight of proof doesn't fall fast. It crushes slowly. And Pam was already under it. She just didn't feel it yet. I waited 3 days before sending it. Not because I had doubts. Just wanted the timing right. Pam had slipped back into her routine, moving around the house like a woman who believed her secret was buried deep enough. But I'd already unearthed it. And I knew just where to drop it. Erica Rowan was a PDA mom. I'd seen her in passing grocery store, school pickup, town charity runs. She always looked polished, like she woke up 2 hours earlier than necessary. The kind of woman who believed in good manners and keeping family business quiet. Her Facebook was easy to find. Photos of the kids. Fall leaves. Family picnics. Mitchell by her side, smiling that bland politician smile. The lie was layered deep in her life. Just like mine had been. I printed everything. Not just the photos. The video stills. The GPS logs. Cabin ownership. The audio of Pam's sweet little bedtime lie to her son. Labeled each file. Included a short letter. "This is what your husband does when you're not looking." No return address. No signature. Just the truth. I sealed the folder and drove to Maple Creek Lane. Their mailbox was one of those decorative kinds. Floral print. Bird perched on top. Cute. I lifted the lid and slid the envelope inside. Closed it gently. Then drove away. She got it the next morning. I know because that afternoon, my phone rang from an unknown number. "Hello." I answered. Silence. Then a soft voice. "Is this Cody?" I didn't reply. "I got the folder," she said. "The photos. The audio." Still, I said nothing. "Can I talk to you?" she asked. "In person?" I paused. "Why?" "I need to ask you something face to face." I sighed. "Fine. 3rd Street Cafe. 10 minutes. Click. I got there early, sat in the corner booth. She walked in wearing sunglasses, no makeup, shoulders pulled tight like a woman holding herself together by sheer will. She slid into the booth across from me and set her purse down without saying a word. For a few moments, we just sat in silence. "I didn't know," she finally whispered. "Not a clue." "I believe you." "I'm sorry." That caught me off guard. "Why?" "For your kids. For what she did to you." I shrugged. "We all pick our poison." Erica reached into her purse and pulled out the folder. Laid it gently on the table between us. "This is all true?" "Yes." "You took all of it yourself?" "Yes." She looked me in the eye for the first time. There was fire there now, hidden under grief, but building fast. "I want him gone." I nodded. He will be. No, she said. I mean, I want him to know what it feels like. To lose everything. You want help? No, she said firmly. I just needed to see who did this. Who burned it all down? I looked at her, dead calm. I didn't burn it. He did. I just lit the match with his gasoline. She took the folder back, tucked it into her purse, then stood. I don't know what you'll do with your wife, she said. I do, I replied. I just haven't told her yet. Erica nodded once, tight, then walked away. That evening, things shifted. Pam came home quiet. No calls. No texts. Just silence. Her phone stayed face down. She barely touched dinner. The kids sensed something, but didn't ask. She smiled at them like she was trying to memorize their faces. At bedtime, I overheard her whisper to Levi, "You know Mommy loves you, right? No matter what." He nodded, confused. "Are you sick?" She laughed, a little too hard. "No, baby. Just tired." She came downstairs after they fell asleep. Found me on the porch with a drink. Sat down beside me without asking. I think something happened," she started. I didn't look at her. "Oh, Mitchell isn't answering. Maybe he's busy." "He blocked me," she said, almost like a question. "Even his wife." "I think she knows." I said nothing. Pam's voice cracked. "Did you tell her?" I turned and looked her dead in the eyes. "No." A beat. Then, I showed her. She stared at me like I was someone else. Maybe I was. Maybe she never knew me at all. Her mouth opened, like she had something rehearsed. Then closed again. She stood up. I need to sleep." "Sure," I said. "You'll need it." Wednesday morning started quiet. Kids were off to school. Pam was curled up in bed pretending to be asleep, and I was at my desk at the station by 7:15, sipping black coffee and watching the town come alive. Then Cheryl, our receptionist, knocked twice and cracked the door. "Sheriff? There's someone here to see you. Says it's urgent." "Who?" She leaned in. "Mitchell Rowan." I didn't flinch. "Send him in." She gave me a strange look, but nodded and walked off. 30 seconds later, he came through the door. No white coat. No smug smile. Just a rumpled flannel shirt, dark circles under his eyes, and a twitch in his jaw like he'd been chewing stress all night. "Dr. Rowan," I said coolly. "What brings you in?" He hesitated. Took a seat slowly, glancing around like he thought someone might be recording him. "I'm not here in any official capacity," he said. "This is personal." I leaned back, hands folded across my stomach. "Go on." He took a deep breath. "Someone's following me. Watching me. I think I'm being targeted." My lips twitched. "Targeted how?" "I've been receiving threats." "Well, not direct threats. Notes. Anonymous messages. A few photographs left in my mailbox." I nodded slowly. "And what are these photographs of?" His throat bobbed. "Me. My vehicle. Me with someone. Private moments." I stared. He squirmed. "So you're being surveilled?" I said. "Yes." "By whom?" "I don't know. That's the problem. I think maybe a private investigator. Maybe someone hired them. A jealous coworker, a patient's husband. I don't know." "You have enemies?" His eyes flicked up. Not exactly. Just people who might want to ruin me." I let the pause hang in the room like smoke. He leaned in, lowering his voice. "This can't go public. I have a position. A reputation. Married too, right?" I asked evenly. He tensed. "Yes." "You've been stepping outside that marriage, Dr. Rowan?" He blinked. "I don't think that's relevant." "Actually," I cut in, "it might be extremely relevant, considering you're asking the sheriff to investigate a possible stalker who's sending evidence of infidelity to your front door." His jaw locked. "I came to you for help," he said, defensively. "And you're getting it," I said with a thin smile. "Just want to be sure we understand the situation fully. No surprises." He swallowed hard. I opened a drawer, pulled out a blank notepad. "Describe the contents of these messages." "They weren't typed," he said. "Handwritten notes. No signature. Just phrases. One said, 'She's not worth it.' Another said, 'Ask your wife about Thursday.' One envelope had pictures of me and the woman talking near my car." I nodded. "Anything threatening?" "No. Just invasive." "And you haven't contacted the woman involved?" "No," he said quickly. "Not since. Well, since a few days ago. She reached out." I ignored it. I stared at him long and hard. "Got anything to show me?" He hesitated, then pulled out his phone. Showed me the photos. Ones I'd taken. Ones he now feared. I took my time. Scrolled through. even zoomed in. This is the woman? I asked. He nodded. Your coworker. Another nod. I slid the phone back across the desk. Well, I said, if you're not being threatened directly, I can't open an official case. But I'll make a note of your concern. That's it. I can't assign manpower to vague notes and some parking lot photos, doctor. But I'll let my deputies know to keep an eye out around your property. He looked disappointed. Desperate. Is there anything else you can do? I smiled politely. Keep your nose clean, maybe. He stood, clearly flustered. Thank you, Sheriff. I nodded. Always happy to help. He left. Didn't even realize the guy who'd taken those photos had just interviewed him for his own case. When the door shut behind him, I let out the breath I'd been holding and leaned back in my chair. Nate walked in without knocking. You serious? That was him. Yep. He just came right in, begging to be saved from himself. Nate grinned. What do we do? Nothing, I said. We wait. That night, Pam was in the kitchen reheating leftovers. She was quiet. Thin smiles. Too polite. Trying to pretend things were normal. She hadn't heard from Rowan in days. No surprise. His life was caving in, and the only way he could think to fix it was to run to the law, never realizing the law had already judged him. I watched her while she moved around the kitchen. She was going to break soon. I could see it. And I was ready. Saturday morning started strange. Pam was up early, dressed before the kids, makeup on, but not fresh, not bright. Just effort. Like someone applying war paint without knowing which side they were on. She made pancakes, cut fruit, poured juice. Tried to hum a song. No one joined her. The boys mumbled thanks and ate in silence. Even Levi, who never stopped talking, was quiet that morning. She felt it. The distance. The shift. And for the first time, she didn't know how to fix it. I waited until noon. Until the kids were in the yard, tossing a football. Then I called her into the living room. She came in cautiously, like a dog that knew it had chewed something it shouldn't. I handed her the folder. Same one I'd shown Erica. Pam opened it slowly. Saw the photos. The cabin. The firelight. The trail. Saw the GPS logs. The parking lot kisses. The doctor's SUV parked next to hers night after night. And finally, the audio. Her voice. Lying to our son from that log in the woods. She didn't speak. Just kept turning pages. When she got to the end, she looked up. Eyes wide. Face pale. How long have you? Long enough. She swallowed hard. Cody, I raised a hand. No more lies. She nodded, slowly. Tears started to form, but I didn't flinch. I tried to stop it, she whispered. I thought, when we went to the cabin, I thought it'd make me feel alive again. I thought I could leave before it got worse. But you didn't, I cut in. You doubled down. You dragged our son into it. You lied right to his face. Pam sat down, like her knees gave out beneath her. I didn't mean to ruin everything. You didn't ruin it, I said. You traded it. For attention. For ego. For someone else's husband. She covered her face with both hands. Please, Cody, don't make me the enemy in front of the boys. I leaned in. You did that all by yourself. I stood, walked to my desk, and returned with a second folder. Divorce papers. Already drawn up. Signed by my attorney. Custody agreement. I keep the house, full custody. She gets visitation. Supervised if needed. No alimony. No claims. No negotiation. She blinked at it like it was a gun. You already filed? I prepared, I said. While you were sneaking around with Mitchell, I was protecting myself. And our boys. Her voice cracked. This isn't fair. Was it fair when you stood outside that hospital every night, giving another man what used to be mine? She winced. Was it fair when you smiled through family dinner, knowing you'd be lying in his bed the next night? She started sobbing. I waited. Eventually, she whispered, I have nothing without you. I leaned against the wall, arms crossed. No, Pam. You have exactly what you fought for. Mitchell. He won't even talk to me. His wife. She cut him off completely. He's leaving town. I know. She looked up. You talked to her. I nodded. I showed her what he was. Pam's voice dropped to a hoarse whisper. You destroyed him. No, I said. You both did that. I just handed over the evidence. We sat in silence for a moment. Then I said, calmly, you're going to sign those papers. And if I don't, I'll go public. Everything. The hospital, your coworkers, our church. I'll release the phone call. You want people to hear what you said to Levi from another man's bed. Her mouth opened, then closed. She nodded. I'll sign. I didn't smile, didn't gloat, just handed her a pen. She signed each page with trembling hands, then slid them back across the table like they were on fire. You'll still see the boys, I said, but you won't live here, and you won't interfere. I understand. You'll say nothing bad about me to them. I wouldn't. You already have, I said. Don't lie again. She bowed her head. I'm sorry. I stood. It's too late for that. What matters now is what you do next. She gathered her things over the next 2 days. No drama, no shouting, just bags, boxes, and heavy silences. She moved into a rental near the edge of town. Small, cold, temporary. The boys visited every other weekend for now. They never cried when she left. Just hugged her, waved, and ran back inside. That Friday, mate stopped by the station. Everything calm? As calm as it'll get. You gonna miss her? I shook my head. I already grieved that woman. Months ago. He nodded. What now? I poured us both coffee. Now? I raised my voice. I sleep without checking her side of the bed. I live. Nate raised his mug. To clean exits. I tapped mine against his. In silent revenge. The divorce went through quietly. No court battles. No protests. No surprises. She signed everything, just like I said she would. Filed through my lawyer. Stamped. Sealed. Done. By the time the final envelope showed up in my mailbox, I barely looked at it. Just tossed it on the pile and poured another cup of coffee. The war was over, and I hadn't lost a damn thing that mattered. Pam moved out of Livingston 3 weeks later. Said she needed a fresh start. Said the town whispered too much. Said she couldn't breathe here anymore. I didn't argue. Didn't ask where she was going. Didn't care. The boys asked once or twice, then stopped. Kids know when a door's closed, even if no one says it out loud. The house was different without her. Quieter. No high heels clicking across the floor. No late-night showers after shifts. No half-hearted kisses goodbye. Just me and my sons, making breakfast, doing homework, living. And the quiet? It wasn't empty. It was clean. I didn't date. Didn't go out looking for healing. Didn't post inspirational quotes or play the victim. I stacked firewood. Coached Little League. Learned how to braid Levi's hair for Halloween when he dressed up like a Viking. Sat on the porch at night with a beer and a silent dog at my feet. It was enough. Pam saw the boys twice a month. For now, that might change. Maybe not. They always came back quiet. Not upset. Just thoughtful. They didn't say much about what she said, but they always hugged me longer when they got home. And that told me all I needed to know. One night, Levi crawled into my bed after a storm. He was too old for that now, but I didn't say a word. He curled against me and whispered, "Mom says she misses you." I didn't answer. He added, "She said she wishes things were like they used to be." I stared at the ceiling, then said, "Sometimes when people break something, they think sorry is enough to fix it. Is it? Not always." I didn't need revenge anymore. Not even satisfaction. All I needed was peace. And I'd earned it. The hard way. People in town still gave me looks. Some curious. Some knowing. A few sympathetic. I didn't explain myself. Didn't have to. My life spoke loud enough. The ones who mattered already knew. The ones who didn't? They could gossip all they wanted. A few months later, I got a letter. No return address. Inside, a blank card and a photo of a beach. Florida, maybe. On the back, in small handwriting. "I hope someday you can forgive me." I burned it. Didn't even read it twice. Forgiveness isn't something you owe the people who wrecked you. It's something you owe yourself when you're ready to move forward without dragging their weight behind you. And I was already there. I wasn't broken. I wasn't bitter. I was just done.